tell me about your 40-day fast, because I don't want to skip over that.
And by the time I reach like 25, 30 days, I start to question like, damn, I can really go to distance with this. Since I broke the fast about 2 weeks ago, I've been going raw and I haven't gained any weight from the juice fast.
The most recent fast that you did, how long was this fast?
It was 6 months, 182 days and a half.
6 months?
But your group is one of the most supportive group on the internet right now. When you post a picture of before and after, it'll make you feel like you're a superstar. From the water fast, I don't want to compare it because I lost 65 pounds, but for the juice fast, I went longer and then I lost.
Hi, you're watching The Healthy Alternative, and today we have a very special guest. Roberto is here with us today to share about his journey. I found him because he was doing like this very, very extended, I don't even know if you can call it extended. You were doing like juice, like forever, this juice fast. And so I'm very excited to sit down. I've been wanting to sit down with you for a while, get to know about your journey, why it is that you started your journey and all the things you learned along the way. So for everybody who's watching, if you guys want to hear about this amazing juice fast that he's done and what he's got from it, stay tuned. That's coming up next. All right. So, man, we had a little technical difficulties to get started, but we're here and I'm grateful for you. Thank you for, being patient with me. How you doing?
Life is good, man. Thanks for asking. First of all, let me say thank you for having me. I am very familiar with who you are, and you are an inspiring figure, not to just myself, but to a lot of people. And it's an honor to finally sit down and speak with you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about where you were before you kind of decided to make this dramatic change, really. Where were you mentally? Where were you physically? Where were you emotionally? Just tell us how you feeling.
Well, let's go with the physical part. But before, I have to give you like a little chronological story and how you got involved into the whole situation. So
Okay.
pretty much let's go pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, we're looking at Roberto here, about 325 pounds, sleep apnea. This is for the physical, diabetes, and also I was prescribed a CPAP machine. When they did the test on me, I would stop breathing anywhere from 90 times to 120 times a night. So technically, my way of explaining it, I would literally die or almost die. Okay, don't quote me on that, like 90 to 120 times a night. And the doctor prescribed me a CPAP machine. And I literally tried to sleep with this thing for like 3 months and I couldn't get used to it. So I went back and I told her at the time, Dr. Page, I'm like, hey, listen, I don't think I can do this. She said, this thing might save your life. You need to sleep with this thing. And I say, whatever I got to do to not sleep with this, let me know. And she said, you can change your life. I can put you on medication, or you can change your diet. And then you don't have to sleep with this anymore if you fix your lifestyle. And then that's when I ended up on YouTube. And then you were doing, at that time, you were doing your water fast. And I used to binge watch the whole time, water. And I don't know if the people who are watching know, my brother Paul's Law is a figure as far as the raw food diet and also the juice. His name is Paul's Law. He's very popular on the social platforms. Okay. And at the time, he decided to do a water fast. So since I'm already familiar with water fast as far as through you and your channel, and as far as the Healthy Alternative, I don't know if you know, I've been a member now since it's been created. So I'm very familiar with your work and what you have done. And he was like, yo, I'm about to start this water fast, 40 days. At that time, I've been watching it, but I've never seen anybody up close, like in person, do it. So technically, I did not believe the guy. But, this is my brother. Yeah, I got to be honest. I didn't believe him because I'm like, 40 days, that's some Jesus stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and every week I would see him, I would check on him. I would like, yo, Paul, how's it going? He'd be like, oh, week 1, 7 days, everything good. Oh, second week, 14 days, on and on, 21 days. And on the 20th day mark, I saw him. I was like, hey, listen, I got to ask you, you mean to tell me you didn't eat nothing, just water? And at that time, he was doing coconut water and plain water for 28 days. He was like, yep. And I was like, you know what? I am starting tomorrow. I was binge watching on your channel, Healthy Alternative, on YouTube and on Facebook. And then now I have a figure in front of me who, like, I know the guy my whole life. We slept on the same bed till I was 15 years old. So I know the guy. I'm like, yo, if he do it, I can do it. So now by the time he's on day 29, I was on day one. Long story short, I struggled on day 37 to make it. So my wife was like, hey, you need some electrolyte. She got me some Gatorade. So I prolonged it and got to 40 days. Long story short, I lost 65 pounds. I
Wow.
celebrated like crazy, bro. I took a photo
Wow.
shoot. I posted on Instagram. I posted on Facebook. Everybody was like, congratulations, Toto. You did an amazing job. You know the deal. You're on Healthy Alternative. You've seen this before and after pictures.
Yep. Yep.
I have done all that. And now I went back to the drinking, the smoking, the meat eating. I gained all the weight back again, brother.
Oh.
So I had to tell you that story because a lot of people see me doing this juice fast. They think it's just like I wake up and I do it. No, there's stories of failure in there. So by the
Mm.
time I lost the 65 pounds and I gained most of it, all of it down, and I got like started from 325, I went back to 300 pounds, 306.
Mm.
So I always got love for myself. I never look at myself. I never have any pity and hate myself. I'm in love with myself. I'm like a narcissist when it comes to that.
Mm.
But I took a picture recently before that particular fast, the juice fast, and I looked at it and I was kind of disgusted.
Mm.
And I think that was the turning point of my decision. Not only I was not healthy, telling you the story as far as my diabetic history, CPAP machine, sleep apnea, and stuff like that. And then now I physically can see that it's going to have a mental effect on me. I really didn't like the guy I saw in the picture. And I'm like, you know what? I got to do something. And I was thinking about the water fast. I was thinking about juice fast, surgery, whatever I got to do to bring myself back. And then I started thinking, it's not just the diet. I got to change my mind. So I put it on a vision board. I put on a vision board, 40 days prayer and fasting. I didn't know what kind of fasting I was going to do, but it was on the vision board. And to let you know, I have many other things on that vision boards that have came true since then. But
Mm.
40 days, that was my plan. I think water fasting or juice fasting, but it was literally 40 days, juice fast or water fast or whatever, but it was plant fasting. That's how the journey got started chronologically.
Wow. Wow. That's Man, you know what? That's powerful because for you to be familiar with fasting and see the stories and just be like still kind of doubt that people, that your brother was gonna do it, and you know what I mean? Like, listen, I never doubt when someone says they're gonna do it. I doubt it if like I wonder, okay, are they gonna complete it? Especially if they're like they've never done it before, because like a lot of people think fasting is like at some point it gets easy or something, and
No,
it's a journey, right? The whole thing.
no, my,
Um,
my brother did it in style. I don't know if he struggled as far as internally, or maybe there's certain part of the story that he didn't share with me. But as far as from the outside looking in, I think he did an amazing job, and I was inspired by his journey. And he's been a raw vegan now for the last 5 years, and that's why you see I'm gearing towards this lifestyle. It's all because of his inspiration. Of course, I have my own sickness, disease
mhm.
that I had to fight. But as far as having somebody to look up to see that man, this man has done it, and I was encouraged by your channel, Jillian Berry, my brother. I was like I binge watched a lot of people, but now I have a personal figure to look at. Like yo, he's done it, and
Mhm.
then I was able to believe that I can actually do it.
Now, what was the time frame between doing the first fast and then starting this kind of the juice
The
fasting?
time frame that was 2021, I did the first one. So from 2021, I think it was like in October, I did that for 40 days, lost all the weight. So by like 2023, I went back, I blew up again. I
Okay.
became the big guy again because I went back to all the smoking, drinking, everything that got me in that scenario in the first place. I went back to that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know where to start. I wanted to get healthy again, but I honestly didn't know where to start.
The interesting thing about that is people always ask me, Chris, okay, you do the fast, blah, blah, blah. Am I going to gain the weight back? And I tell them, like, that's on you. It's the
Yeah.
fasting's not magic. It's not like you fast, you lose 100 pounds, you can never gain it
And then
again.
it's things like that. No, no. So that's why my message and my focus. I have a lot of people trying to reach out and be like, Toto, I want you to coach me, coach me, coach me. But my style is not necessarily to focus on the water or the juice
Mm.
because I think if you have a food problem, first of all, this is my definition of a food problem. I'm originally from Haiti. If you're impoverished, you're from a poverty-stricken country, you don't have any food, you got a food problem.
Hmm.
That's my definition. But if you're in a country that's overdeveloped, overfeeding, over consuming everything, and then you eating too much, you don't have a food problem. You have a will problem.
Mm,
So now you don't have a problem with food because the food is not eating you, you eating the food. So if you
right.
can't stop eating or you don't choose what you're eating, you have a will problem. So when people say, coach me, help me, I'm saying, hey, I can help you fix your mind. I can help you decide to make up your mind. But the juice itself is not what the problem is because the supermarket is loaded with produce, water, all the healthy alternatives, no pun intended, is there. But you have to you have to make up your mind to make the right choice. So therefore you have to fix your will. In other words, get your mind right. Get your
Hmm.
mind right. That's pretty much my focus.
Yeah. Yeah, the mentality thing is a huge piece that a lot of
Uh-huh.
people miss. Now, the funny thing about it, and what I've realized is people can actually do a 30 or 40-day fast and not fix their mentality. And it's almost a shame because I've watched so many people do that and have that success and then fall off. And bro, like, tell me about your 40-day fast because I don't want to skip over that. I mean,
No, let's not. Let's
what
not.
was that? What was that experience like for you? What did you kind of what did you struggle with? Like, let's get into that a little bit.
Well, the 40-day fast, to be honest, as soon as I made up my mind, so technically I'm looking at my brother doing this. I have watched your channel, and just to give you a background story, I'm not Muslim, but every Ramadan I fast. So I'm familiar with dry fast. I've done a couple days here and there. I'm familiar with intermittent fasting, but never like a full long blast, long-term water or juice fast. And like I said, I'm very familiar with your journey. I watched the whole beginning, the YouTube, the healthy
Hmm.
alternative. I've been a member, so I'm very familiar with your story. So
Okay.
now when I started having that personal example in front of me, is telling me like, yo, you can do this. So when I did it, I couldn't believe I was doing it, honestly. When I went the first week, of course, I struggled the first week with the salt, the sugar. I mean, we've been eating our whole lives.
Mm.
Don't think if you decide to just drink water 1 week, people ask you, do you crave this? Do you crave that? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Like, of course you crave it, but your mind has to be made up because if you've been eating, like in my case, over 40 years of consuming cooked food, trash food, good food, bad food, and all of a sudden you say, I don't want to eat, you don't think you're gonna miss food? Of course. So to answer the question, yes, I miss food. Yes, I crave food. Was it hard? Yes, it was. But my goal was in front of me. I'm looking at my brother. I'm thinking about myself as far as the body I want. I was like, you know what? I'm going. First week, tragic. So meaning you think about food all the time. You taste things like you never thought that you would ask for. Random things. You would just wake up and be like, yeah, I wonder what some duck and this would taste like today. And that's what you're technically going through. Like the first 2 weeks, you all you think about is food. You wonder it, like you crave things like you would probably never even think about. You would crave it. You'd be like, man, some goat. You would see other animals. I wonder what this would taste like. Turtle.
You're right.
Your mind is just vagabonding on random thoughts. It's almost like you're losing your mind, but on a food way. You're thinking about food.
Hmm.
Once you pass that first week, you're going to the second week. It's almost like you going through a breakthrough because you start seeing your face is changing, your stomach is going down, and then now you crave a little less. But every once in a while, when the craving comes, it comes in full force. Somebody is trying to put a weapon through your head to say you better eat something, and then that's when all the negative thoughts, whether through social media, whether through family members trying to tell you, hey, this can be dangerous, you better eat. Like you, the voices are coming from left and right. So in other words, fasting, sometimes the battle is not just with you and your mind.
Mm.
When people are aware that you're doing it, the societal and the familiar pressure sometimes can be defeating because you have to listen to your loved ones. They're not necessarily coming from a place of hate or trying to discourage you, but they're coming from the same place you was trained. You was trained to say, eat 3 meals a day. If you don't do this, you're going to die. So they coming from a place of love. And then seeing you trying to do this, they like, hey, you better eat. You muscle loss. Your heart is going to get weak, like all types of stuff. And you have to hear this and react to it. It's not like strangers online where you can be like, it's actually loved ones, it's family
Hmm.
members. That's the second week. Third week now, everybody kind of like, they seeing the changes. Okay, your family notice you don't eat with them anymore. And then now you craving a little less. So therefore, I can go to a barbecue and I don't crave the food. Okay. And now I'm getting stronger. It's like the will is getting built. It's like the muscle is getting built. And
Hmm.
at a certain points, it becomes like a high. it's almost like you feel like you can do anything when you get to like the. And by the way, as far as weight, I was losing 1 pound, 1.5 pounds. This the first like 2 weeks of the water fast. I was doing 1.5 pounds a
Yep.
day.
Yep.
So by the time I reached like 30 days, I was like 40 pounds out, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, 40 pounds for your loved ones, your mother, your wife, your children, that become visible now. They can see like, hey, you lost the, and then your clothes. I'm coming from size 40, 42, and all of a sudden I got to go to the store. By the time I got the 36, I'm down to the 34. So everything is getting big, it's getting big. And then
Yep.
now I'm getting happy. On the 30 days, now I'm getting excited. By the time I reach 40 days, you can't tell me nothing. But on day 35, I have to be specific. By 35, 36, bro, my mind was made up, Roberto, you're going to do 40 days. And I'm sitting here, I had to take a day off. At that time, it was like during the pandemic, everybody was doing Instacart. That's what I was doing for a living at that time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I can't go drive today. I gotta sit this one out. So the last 3 days I stayed home. And I'm talking about bedridden. Like I take it down. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I gotta keep the 40 days going. By the time I do 36, 37, she said, you need some electrolytes. So she get me some Gatorade and I pushed through the 40 days. And by the
Yeah.
time it was time, I don't remember how I broke the water fast exactly, but I broke it. But I remember it didn't take me long to go to drinking, smoking, all the stuff. I'd be like, you know what, I can eat some chicken today, and then, but before you know it, it becomes chicken every day. It becomes a burger for breakfast. But before you know it, I went out of control. So
Yeah.
technically, I gained all the weight back. But the water fast, if I have to resume and conclude, it was brutal,
Yeah.
especially the end of it. It
Yeah.
was brutal, especially the last 7, 10 days. But at first, when you see that change, nobody can tell you nothing. When you see like you see your face is slimming down, your belly went down, your clothes is fitting. Like I like European clothes, and I couldn't fit these things because they don't come oversized 38 pants.
Mm-hmm.
So double X, they're not doing that. And if they do, another double X guy already got them. You're not gonna find them. So that feeling right there is the feeling that keeps you wanting more. Oh my God, I didn't know this life existed. And by the time I reached like 25, 30 days, I start to question like, damn, I can really go to distance with this. And I start to question myself, what if I train myself a little more? Because remember, the first time I take it to distance. But what if I started by doing 5 days and then stop, do 10 days? What if I trained myself? I feel like it would have been easier as far as on the psyche and on my body overall.
Yeah, well, because when you do, like you said, you've been doing eating the standard American diet for X amount of years, and then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden you just stop cold turkey. It's no different from a fiend who's been using,
Amen.
what I mean,
I
drugs
didn't
for
want to use
whatever.
that reference, but that's pretty much where I was going with it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much
Well,
it.
I actually, well, like when you really think about it, the food is a drug because that, like, it's not food what we eat.
To
You know what I
me,
mean? Like, we're
to
not
add
eating
to
real
what you're
food.
saying,
Huh?
to add to what you're saying,
Mhm.
anytime you say food, especially cooked processed food, you might as well say drug. That's why you got the FDA, first of all.
Yeah,
Why is it called Food and Drug Administration? Because they know what
right,
it is. They
right.
know what it is. Once you transform your food, you heat it up or you do something to it, you process it, whatever the original item you thought it was it's not that anymore.
Correct.
It's not that anymore. It's like coffee. Once you heat it up, now you got the caffeine. Pay attention to all the all the words that are promethazine, the caffeine, cocaine, like all of them is processed original food. And then once you process it, and then you got the in it.
Mm-hmm.
So now the that's the drug.
Right.
That's the drug.
And I will say this because I don't talk about this too much because I don't want to discourage people. If I told them the 100% raw unfiltered truth, they would be like, bro, I can't do this. But the reality is, as you stated, anytime you cook food, so even if it's a vegetable or people like,
Anything.
what about fish? It's like once you cook it, your
It can,
body actually reacts to it as if it's a foreign substance.
it is a
So
foreign substance.
I mean, and also what we have been able to see through Carillion photography is we can see the energetic property also diminishes. So
Preach,
it's really better to eat the food raw.
preach,
Yeah.
preach, preach, preach.
So that's what. Go ahead.
And so far, since I broke the fast about 2 weeks ago, I've been going raw, and I haven't gained any weight from the juice fast.
See, there
And
you
I
go.
know we're gonna approach the juice fast as far as chronologically for me to give you a rundown.
Hmm.
But I haven't gained any weight. My body, the same size pants, the same clothes, the same figure, the same posture. Of course, I feel a little more tired because it's solid food, and I think your body needs a little more energy to process it.
Hmm.
But to me, it's the ultimate way to eat. And of course, just like you, I'm not gonna push down people's throat because I gotta have some grace. It's
Hmm.
not like you was a fiend yesterday and all of a sudden you found the truth, you try to clean up, and all of a sudden you're looking at all the other fiends like, oh, you bad, you this. No, we're not gonna.
Right.
We're gonna have some grace. We're gonna look at people and treat it for what it is. We're gonna respect people.
Yeah. That's incredible. I really like these types of stories because it's so real and it's going to be very relatable. There's
Mm-hmm.
someone out there listening to this story right now, and they've done what you've done, right? They did the first
Mm-hmm.
half of your story where they did the 40 days or they did the 30 days or even 7. They lost some weight, they got some progress, and then life happened and they let things slip and they're
Man,
feeling like, what should I do? Go
I have met so many people who have done that.
it's 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 pretty like most people do it, honestly, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
the reality is you're not alone that
No,
messed up, slipped up, whatever. It's just get back on the horse, get back on the saddle and
sure.
do things the way that you know that you can, see a healthy result. That's
You
and
are
I like
preaching.
how you switched it
You
up.
are preaching right now, brother. You are preaching.
Oh
You are
yeah.
preaching. You
Yeah.
are preaching. That's the word.
I like how you switched it up. You decided to do the juice fasting. Now, what
Yes.
was there a specific reason why? Was it because you wanted to just do something different? Did you feel like it would be easier to go longer? Tell me about your thought process about doing the juice.
My thought process in a nutshell was more like, okay, I did the water already. When I got to the end of it, it got difficult where I needed, let's say, juice. So what if I do juice? And I got to tell you, prior to the juice fast, I was consuming online a lot of content with juicers. But for the same way I got into you, I was watching your channel. All of a sudden, I keep seeing water, water, and my brother did the water fast, and water came into my life.
Hmm.
It's the same scenario with the juice. For some reason, the algorithm keep flushing juice on my system, and I keep watching content creators, people who do juice fast. They keep coming, and I keep watching them. And of course, I had the situation, so I'm thinking, you know what? That's what the next thing is going to be. So to me, I think that was the motivation. It was the content, the algorithm, nature that keep throwing it to me. The same way it happens with the water fast. It's like I was watching you. I didn't have no intention of doing a water fast, but for some reason your channel came up. I watched your story and I watched all the people who are following what you're doing, who wanted to do the same thing you do. And I always question myself, man, can I really do that?
Hmm.
And I got the answer. Yes, I can. And then it's the same thing with the juice. I'm watching these people do this, and then it keeps going down the timeline. And then I'm like, you know what? I should give this a try. It should be better as far as, although I would not get the fiber, but I would get the actual juice, and it should be nutritious because your body would get rid of the fiber through your bowel movement anyway, and keep, the juice. So that was my thought pattern as far as the way I got into it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I guess we can move into talking a little bit more about the juice. I have one question more about your past. Have you always been like bigger, or was there a point when you kind of started to gain weight? Like,
That's a very good question. I think, wow, that's a very good question. I remember when I left high school, my last physical as a child. You know, when you're 18, you're about to be an adult where you no longer can go to a pediatrician. And I remember my last physical, I was 190 pounds.
okay,
And I was like 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. That was like back in 99. So
okay,
that I remember. And the weight gain, of course, when you become an adult, that's when I start smoking. That's when I
mm,
start drinking. And that's when I start having money to do things on my own as far as feeding myself. And then you start going to do this late night, the burger joint. After work, we go get steak at 2 in the morning to the diner. And that lifestyle begin. Sometimes you don't really pay attention. If you do 5 pounds a year, and you
hmm,
do that for 20 years, that's a whole nother human being. A lot of people don't think about that. If
yeah,
you gain 5 pounds a year, you 20 years old. By the time you're 40, you're 100 pounds bigger. That means your pant size is gonna double up, your face is gonna swell up, your manhood is not gonna work the same. I'm letting you know right now. I know
yeah,
we gotta keep it PG, but Listen, nothing is going to function the same if you do 5 pounds a year. Now,
Mhm.
most people might think, oh, this is just 5 pounds, but do that every year consecutively. That's 100 pounds in 20 years. And
Mhm.
that's what I think happens to me. I didn't just
Wow.
wake up and I blew up. And no, it was just gradually. Okay, you out of high school now, you can eat. Oh, it's 5 pounds. 190, we go to 195. Next year, we're 200 pounds. Before we know it, we're at 220. We at 225. And every year, by the time I'm 25, I'm like 240 pounds. And people be like, oh, you young, you carry it well. I hear that so many times. You carry it well. And every once in a while, I try to go to the gym, play basketball. In
Yep.
2003, I started like a vegan diet, fell off 3 years later. So it's always been a yo-yo life trying to find myself as far as what I want to look like and what I want my health to be. So I didn't blow up in just one shot from one year to another. It was a gradual, slow cooking,
Mm.
getting big. That's how my life happened.
This is a good point, man. This is a
Yeah.
good point because I think that happens for most people.
Mm-hmm.
I've said on my show a few times, I'm so grateful to my mom. My mom cooked every night. Like we
Mm-hmm.
would go out to eat. My dad liked to go out to eat and stuff like that, but my mom cooked.
God
And
bless your mom.
I loved her cooking too. So, I was grateful, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand the impact it was going to have on my life later when I became an
Mm-hmm.
adult, like you mentioned, and now you're out on your own. I'm not cooking. I'm going to,
No,
I was
no,
eating
I'm
McDonald's back
I'm
then.
definitely not cooking. No,
Right, right.
I'm
Um,
definitely cooking.
so that transition, and it happens to women too, right? But
Oh,
that
of course,
transition
everybody.
from mom's house to your house, and
Mm-hmm.
before you really start cooking for whatever reason, whether you have children, start a family, or whatever, yeah, man, 5 pounds a year. And what I found is most people put on that 3 to 5 pounds, they do it in the latter half. So we're talking, we're heading into the holiday season right now.
Yeah, preach. Go ahead.
This
Preach.
is where so this the timing of this is great because October, I'll say between October and December, that's when people are putting on the majority of their weight. So you gotta nip
Preach.
it in the bud, man, with this Thanksgiving, and it's the sugar. Like we're basically eating sugar at 3 times the rate during this holiday season.
Especially if you accompany that with the alcohol drinking and the lack of exercise, and some of
Hmm.
us smoke. So technically, we oh man, we kill the body, man. We put so much trash in there. A lot of times, a lot of people like I was gaining the weight, and I have my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Dukins. He's a social media personality. He's huge out there in the Spanish world. And shout out to Dukins. And I remember I spent like a week with him in Florida. And this guy six packed up. I think he was born with a six pack. And every time he eats, me and him would eat the same thing. But this guy is ripped. And me, on the other hand, I'm 300 pounds. And I always tell him, like, dude, it's not like I eat a boatload of food, bro. I eat the same thing everybody else eat, but I keep gaining the weight. But what I noticed that he would do every time, he would be sitting with you, we having a conversation, and he'd get on the floor, he'd do 15 push-ups real quick,
Hmm.
real quick.
Hmm.
So pretty much by the time we speak for 2 hours, if every 5, 10 minutes he get on the floor, boom, 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 he knocked down 15, 20. This guy's staying ship throughout the whole day. So what I'm saying is like sometimes it's not just the food, it's not just the fasting, it's not just the diet. Some of us aren't active at all, and that was my case.
Right.
I used to play basketball when I was younger. So by the time I got to college, there was no such thing. I didn't play it for fun anymore. I stopped having fun. I stopped running. I stopped
Mm.
exercising, and before you know it, mixing that with the smoking, with the drinking. Now gradually every year, sometimes you don't notice 5 pounds, it's not a big difference, but by the time you reach 4 or 5 years, that's 25 pounds. By the time you do 10 years, you're a whole another person. If somebody
Yeah.
spent 10 years, they don't see you, you get 50 pounds, you're a whole new person. And it's the same thing for the people who haven't seen me in 6 months, and then now they see me 105 pounds lighter. They looking at me like, I have friends, yo, you laughing, right? I have friends who called me from social media and telling me everything that they never told me, how much they love me, thinking that I'm terminally ill, that I'm about to
Ah,
die. That happens, I'm talking about multiple times. I have
wow.
people who give me doctor's reference. Like if you have cancer, this guy will take care of you. Like go to this guy. Like they literally think like I'm this sick person who's just diminishing disappearing slowly, like I'm dying slowly. But in the meantime, I'm living my best life. This is the best I've ever felt in my whole life. And it becomes like a joke to me. It becomes hilarious, but but I still look at it like it's love. I still
Yeah.
look at it like it's love. I don't judge them. I don't look at it like, oh, what do you think? Like I'm just, I don't look at it like that. I was
Mhm.
laughing at everything. And I
Yeah.
think that's another part when you break through, whether the water or the juice fast, you get to a point where you becomes more sympathetic and empathetic, where it's not a lot that bothers you. And in the beginning, by the way, I don't think I answered that part of the question. The beginning of the fast, anything gets on your nerve. I forgot to mention that. Both fast. Any little thing, your kids cry, man, your wife talk to you, man, your phone ring, everything gets on your nerve. The first 2 weeks, because you're hungry, you don't have that much energy and you out of your comfort zone because most of us don't even eat food for nutrition because like we said, we cook it, we destroy it. It has no nutritional value. We eat it for comfort. So
Hmm.
now the thing that we lean on for comfort, we take it out of our lives. Man, you can be really mean. You can be really mean to a lot of people. That's why fasting should be done in isolation, especially for
Mm.
the first 2 weeks. You
Yeah,
should isolate yourself a little bit.
that's a good point. So what you're essentially talking about is what we call hangry, but it's like an extended period because you're fasting. Because when people get hangry, they eat and then they're
Yeah,
they're good.
they eat and they're good. But when
Yeah.
you're fasting, it's kind of like, wow, you really not eating, and then now this kid is gonna say, "Daddy, how was your day today?" Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Like, it can be anything. It could be, "Ah, baby, I love you." Hey, with that love, man, I want a piece of chicken right now. Talking about love, like you
I
get
don't
to
need
that
that
point.
love right now.
I don't want nobody want love right now. You want chicken, like
That
and
that's
that's what fasting. The first 2 weeks, I'm telling you, it gets messy. But if you can go past that, I feel like there is a breakthrough, whether water or juice.
sure. And that's legit. Just so you know, I experience it. My brother Steve, Steve fasts all the time. He's gotten better. He's gotten much
Okay.
better. You know what I'm saying? But when he's
Yes.
fasting, his mood, his vibration is much lower, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Uh,
That's why you stay away from people when it's time to fast. Sometimes you got to pick a day. Like if the wife's on vacation, the kids about to spend a couple of days with grandpa. You take that day. You know you're gonna be alone. You're not gonna get on nobody's nerve, and nobody's gonna get on your nerves. So those 3 days right there, all right, do your juice, do your water, and then you don't have to go destroy anybody's life
right,
because
right.
trust me, it can get messy.
Very good point. All right, cool. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, right? The
Meat and
most recent
potatoes. Let's
the
go.
most recent fast that you did. First of
Yes.
all, how long was this fast?
It was 6 months, 182 days and a half.
6 months.
Yes, I started on February 25th. February 24th was the last time I consumed something, and I ate for 5 people that day. And
You said
I ate for like 5 people because I knew I was going to embark on the fast. So this is it. I put that on my vision board. So technically, New Year's, people do vision board. I did that. So by the time February hits, I'm looking at the vision board. I was like, bro, you didn't start nothing that you said on that vision board. You got to get it going. So of course, there's certain things that I got as far as raised on my job, going back to school, like, starting to, become a better person, better husband, father, etc. Like I'm working on myself. And then I'm looking at the fasting part. I was like, damn, when am I going to approach that? So I'm like, okay. And I decided, okay, my son had a basketball game in Baltimore, and we traveled to Baltimore, and I told the family, hey, listen, I'm gonna eat with you guys this Sunday, and then on Monday I'm gonna embark on my juice fast, and then that's pretty much the mindset. So on that Sunday, man, I had calamari, I had Chinese food, I had cheeseburger, I have sausage, bacon, egg, and cheese. Man, I ate. I ate like not 3 times a day, probably 6 times that day. I drank
yeah.
coffee, I drank beer the night before. Like I was just going because I knew I was gonna be away from food for a minute. And then
Mm.
on the 25th, I started the fast. So as soon as I got back home, I went to the grocery store. I got all my stuff, and I had an old juicer that I had for 20 years. I didn't want to mention the name just in case you're not associated with the company. So and I used my juicer regularly, and then the fast started on the 25th. So the fast that I started, I call it the yaki juice, but I think in other communities they call it lemon ginger blast. So it was pretty much pineapple, it was ginger, it was celery, and cucumbers, turmeric, and did I mention ginger and lemons?
Yeah.
So that was the foundation of my first 2 weeks.
Okay.
And my mind was so made up, it didn't seem hard to be honest. It wasn't like but I still can notice the mood change. Like, you short with people. I still can notice that. And I was trying to work on that every day. But by the time the first week goes, I can see my body changing. I can see my face start to slim down. And I'm getting excited. It's almost like I wake up every day thinking about, like, what I'm gonna look like the next day. So
Mm.
during that process, I started to make one-dimensional little notes and post it on Instagram. I would say, okay, day one, juice fast, and I would take a Bible quote or some kind of famous quote that's encouraged people or to encourage myself. And then one brother was like, hey, I think it's in Matthew 16. He was like, hey, when you're fasting, don't tell people because that can have a negative effect on you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep it on social media, but I would post the one dimensional. Since my goal was 40 days, by the time I reached 40, by the time I reached like 15, 20 days, people was like, no, we need to see your face. We need to see videos. And I'm like, okay, let me just do my private work. And then by the time I reach 40 days, I start posting the actual videos that everybody's seeing, including on healthy alternatives.
Right.
I use that channel probably twice a day. You probably seen me on there more than everybody because I
For sure.
posted every day from day 40, and then it becomes 41, it becomes 42. And then people say, hey, we want to see you juice it. What's in the juice? How many ounces did you drink? So every day now I got to wake up with a new question. And then the I would call them friends because I found a new community. I found
Mhm.
people who literally that I wake up and I look forward to see what they post. The same with them. So it's kind of like I find a new community when it comes to the juicing and raw food community. So people start getting friendly. Hey, what'd you do? TMI questions. What's your bowel movement look like? Do you have loose skin? Did you lose muscle? Are you tired? So I have to wake up every day and make a video about the juice and the question they ask. So what I started to do, I would make a recap video on a weekly basis. So every Monday, I work at it for a school district. I went to the nurse office and I would film the scale and I would update every week. I would update them with the weight while I step on the scale. And also, if I go to a nurse, to a doctor, they take my blood pressure, my glucose, I will update them. Whatever I do medically, I will update the followers. And as far as the daily juicing, and I would create little catchphrase like in Juice We Trust, the Gospel of Juice, the Juice Ministry. So when at the end of each video, I would be like, juices. So, people would find it funny, they like the personality and so forth. So it snowballed into, okay, day 50, day 60, before you know it, day 70. But throughout that time, I'm not thinking about it. I'm having a blast because I'm not hungry. I am not tired. I sleep 5, 6 hours a night. For the people who wonder, the amount I consume was literally 2 jars that I post in my videos. They 70 ounce a piece. So a gallon is 128 ounce. So I drink over 150 ounces of juice every day,
Okay.
more or less. And after 6 p.m., I don't drink juice. I just drink water because I try
Okay.
not to put anything sweet, anything in my body after that time. So I just drink water after 6 p.m. So that's how the journey keeps going. I feel so energized. I feel so light. And I feel like I can do anything as far as my will. I started to write books. Of course, I was going back to school. I started progressing in my grades, and I never miss a day of work. I don't take naps. I had so much energy. I was cooking for my family. I was taking my kids everywhere. My energy level was on 10, like the youth
Mm.
would say. I was on 100, like literally every day. So I'm like, there's no need to stop this. So I'm just going to take it one day at a time. So every time people say, when are you going to stop? You're going to do 90 days. By the time I get to 50, they say, you're going to do 2 months, 60 days. I'm like, okay, 60 days. By the time I get to 60, okay, oh, he's going to go for 70. And it's kind of like you got a group of people that's hyping you up,
Yeah.
but you have a little minimum amount of people that be like, yo, this can't be good. This is too much sweet.
Right.
So, but every time I listen, because I never take everything with a grain of salt. I take everything with a grain of salt. Like I never think I know everything. So if somebody say this is too much sugar in the juice that I post, the next day I will literally make it with less sweet items because I'm listening. Because remember, I'm experiencing myself. I'm not a juice expert. This is
Right.
something I decide to do, and I'm learning as I go based on the previous people that have done it before me.
Right.
And of course, I have my own body composition, so I may react to carrots. Like carrots put me to sleep. Every time I juice carrots, it gives me a drunk feeling I can't even drive. And
Interesting.
every time I do kiwi, it itches the back of my throat like I got COVID.
Yeah.
So I had to learn myself. Carrots might work for somebody, gives them energy. For me, it puts me to sleep. So I'm learning myself throughout that whole journey. So by the time somebody say, hey, I say carrots put me to sleep, they say, Toto, you did a whole bag of carrot and you diabetic. Of course it's gonna put you to sleep. So the next day I try less. It still put me to sleep, even when I put 2 carrots in there. So I stopped carrots. And then
Yeah.
I went for my glucose test. The nurse was like, "What'd you drink the day before?" I said, "Pineapple." She said, "You're diabetic. You better stay away from pineapple." So for the rest of the fast, I canceled pineapple out of the juice fast. If
Okay.
you pay attention to my journey, when I start posting video, pineapple was no longer part of the fast. So by the time watermelon season came, bro, I spent 2 weeks straight drinking watermelon, limes, and lemons. That was my combination. I drank that literally for 2, 3 weeks at a time. And then every once in a while, I would mix it with some green juices. I juice bok choy throughout that fast. I juice things I didn't know I could juice.
Right.
And I juice them. If I like it, I keep juicing it. If I don't like it, I would mix up things. I would change things. I would put combination of parsley, cilantro. Like I would mix so many combinations have came. And I try to answer everybody's questions. And like right now, like talking to you is like a dream come true because this is you like a figure. You like a figment, like a figure. Somebody I look through the screen. I'm like, man, I wonder if I can do this. And now me and you interacting. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like my dreams. It's like becoming I'm leaving the dream state and everybody I used to look at and be like, oh, I wonder if I can do this. And now I have a relationship with these people. I can speak with them. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you start walking in purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that, man. If you know, because we've talked offline about some of the things that you're looking to do in the future, and
Yes.
walking in purpose and this path of helping others, it opens up doors that I never like. I'm pretty, I'm pretty capable. I'm very, like you said, you love yourself.
Yeah.
I know I'm very capable, man. But like, it's just certain things you never thought about, like um opportunities that you weren't in the right frame of mind to even conceive
You
it.
even notice. Amen.
You know?
And by the way, not that I want to bring up what we talked about in private, but when you asked me these questions, I literally had to sit down and thought about it. You probably see that I took a little time to answer
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't thought about it. I didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask me those questions like, where do you see yourself going? What are you trying to do? And I'm thinking like, wow, yeah, Toto, what are you trying to do? What do you like? I literally had to sit back and be like, that's a good question. And that's why it took me a minute to reply because I'm like, because I didn't think about it that way. Because right now, all that's on my mind is let's make Toto better.
Right.
Whatever you think about, you can make the best version of yourself. Let's build that. And if that inspires people, well, let it inspire people. If that becomes like a commercial venture, well, let it become that. But the first thing is let's build Toto. Let's change Toto to a healthy person, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And if that's appealing to everybody, well, let it inspire everybody. If people
Mm-hmm.
like the personality, if people like the way I present the content, because I enjoy social media, I enjoy binge watching this type of content. So I'm kind of familiar with the fasting, with the juice and the diet, the exercise, the wellness community. I'm very familiar with all the figures that are in it. And I'm a fan of all of them, whether the extreme ones or the less extreme ones. I'm somebody who pays attention. When you asked me that, I had to literally think about it. And I'm like, wow, where do you want to take this? And I didn't, it took me a minute to reply because I really never thought about it.
And now is the perfect time, right? You're at a
Yes.
place where you can begin to make that shift. And I definitely think that your life is, I mean, over the next year, your life's going to change in a very positive way. And it'll be exciting to, see your growth and the community that you're building. I know because you invited me to a community that you have on Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's One Nation Under Raw. So technically, I had my Facebook. That was Roberto Lucky Michelle. That page got hacked. And when it got hacked, I sat down and I thought about it. 5 minutes later, I created another page because I felt like that guy died.
Mm,
I felt like he died because now everybody who was on there, I was 325 pounds. And all of a sudden, if somebody decide or God decide to take that away from me and give me this new life, and by the time I was trying to end the fast, I was thinking, what am I gonna do to uphold, to upkeep this new body that I have? And I'm thinking raw life. So I changed my name from Roberto to Rawberto. So
right.
I created this new Roberto Michelle because I feel like this is the person that I am now. And I started inviting all the other people that are important to me from the old page to the new one. That's why I sent you that invite. So I built One Nation Under Raw. So
Got you.
technically, it's going to be a space for people to share their life the same way you establish your page. like you see how I'm comfortable to come to go on your page and post my items. I want a place like that where people can do the same thing you do for the fasting community, for the
Mhm.
wealth. When people lose some weight, they want some encouragement. They go on your page. Believe me, your page, bro. Let me tell you something about your page, bro. And this is to give you your flowers. I have been on a page, a fasting page, and bro, they kick my butt on there.
Mm.
They kicked me out. Not kick me out like kick me off the page, but as far as the way they were attacking and saying, this is not fasting, this is not this is not that. I feel like your community, yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And to the point where I had to apologize, I'd be like, damn, I didn't know juice fast was not fasting. I'm aware fasting is staying away from food, from juice, from whatever. I'm aware that is, but for the sake of conversation, for the title that has been carrying online, I call it a juice fast. You can
Mhm.
call it juice diet or juice cleanse, but they weren't having it, bro. And I'm talking
Mm.
about they weren't nice at all. But
Mm.
your group is one of the most supportive group on the internet right now. And
Mm.
everybody on Healthy Alternative knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you post a picture of before and after, the amount of support that you get, people saying congratulations, keep up the good work, it'll make you feel like you're a superstar. And that's what it did for me. That's why I love your page and I enjoy it and I keep people updated as far as my journey because that page become a space where people who are on that journey feel like, yo, you are welcome to come and share your life with us. And then we here to support you. That's what your page does. So when I look at this page, when I look at my brother's page, which is a tribe called Us, I'm like, wow, I want something like that. I want something like that, even if it doesn't have the same connotation as far as this is just for juicing. But I think your page have grown because when I first started, it was just like water. Everybody
Yeah.
on there was just water fasting, water. They're posting the scale, the water they're drinking. People was asking, what kind of water did you drink? What's the best brand? When we first started, that was your page. But now, if you pay attention, you have a whole new life. You have juicers like me. You have raw vegan. You have people that are doing many different type of things. So the page attracts a community, and that community is one of the most supportive community online. And everybody who's part of that group can testify. That's what it is. So I look up your group. I look up Tribe Called Us. I was like, I wanted to build a space similar to that, and that's the model that I had.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like
Yes,
you have
sir.
no idea how impactful those words are because from my point of view, I see the group different. I just see it completely different. And to know that you're having that type of experience in a community that I help to facilitate means everything.
Bro,
And
let me tell you more. Let me tell you more since it makes you feel good. That group, bro, first of all, they never deny me anything that I post. That's number one. And I've never met a hater on your group. And I mean that. I've never met somebody who come with a negative vibe, like who's trying to say, what is this, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know how you part of some group sometimes and somebody always got something horrible to say? I
yeah.
feel like this community, it's almost like you handpick them. It's almost like you say, you know what, you fit for this group, come over here. It felt like that because
Mm.
everybody is very, very, yo, you think I'm lying? Even when you post, you see the amount of support that you get. Post something right now. Post like a before and after picture. Post the juice that you're drinking for the day. And then you're gonna see the second that you posted, 5 minutes later, 20, 30 people gonna reply to you. They keep going, brother. Yeah, I see you, dude. Like, hey, they have questions. Like it becomes a community. That's why I say I find a whole new group of friends, like people I didn't know that I could be cool with. People that would literally wake up every day, you post something, and it's like you have that relationship now. That's what this group does. And when I saw it, and people always ask me to build it, but like you always ask me, what are you trying to do? I didn't know. I'm only looking at you. I'm looking at my brother, and I see the impact that you guys have on certain communities. And there are many other groups out there, but they are more, I don't want to say exclusive or inclusive. Yours is more inclusive.
Mm.
It's kind of like, okay, you want to be part of this? You see what we do. This is about wealth and bettering your life. You want to be part of this? You're more than welcome. You post your content. I'm not going to filter it. I'm not going to delete it. You're going to be respectful. And so far, I don't know if you have any internal issues, but so far from what I'm seeing from the outside looking in, everybody is just like amazing people in that group. And I appreciate you and I appreciate them.
Man, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have when I get a chance. I gotta go do a live. I gotta show them this clip first of all. I mean, people
No,
will see it on YouTube, but I
people
got a
know.
clip. Yeah.
People know, and I think people give you your flowers too because sometimes when I go under, like when you post something, if you're doing something, I see the encouragement. I don't know. It might be too much for you to reach because you at like 70,000 people right now. Let's say if a quarter of them is giving you love, man, you need the whole day to go down the line and start responding to everybody. But I can see the love when you post something. They're gonna let you know the effect that you have on that community. And I have seen it. If they become part of that group, meaning at certain time of their lives, they have seen your example, they have seen your videos, they say, you know what, I can follow this brother. I can follow this brother because he changed his life. Maybe if I get a little bit of that juice, no pun intended, I can change mine too. I can change mine too. And I think that's why you're able to attract, like you built a tribe, and then those people kind of like following your lead. The same vibe you got is the same vibe they projecting out there. It's like a supportive vibe. You can do it vibe, get healthy. You can come from being this big and then you can make up your mind and shrink your body and change your life. And I think everybody's there is with that mindset. No age. There's no, I've seen so many different white women mention your page. It's not a black page. It's not a woman's page. It's not a white page. It's just healthy alternatives.
There you go.
You built that life. You built it for us. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure. It was my intention. What you experience in the other fasting groups that you mentioned, I used to be in a group. I won't say the name, but it was a cooking group. It was a cooking group, and it was a Dr. Sebi cooking group. And because I was on this is before AHA, but I was on the alkaline diet trip.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, and they were very mean to me. Because I think I had mentioned, oh, I drink distilled water, and they went ballistic. They were like, that's not approved, Dr. Sebi.
By the way, that's one of my things that I don't like about certain community, and the division that I realized that exists within the health community itself. I was trying to create this group, I call it 50 Shades of Green. It was like a vision group, but somebody already got the name. I thought it was genius because there's many different level of healthy. Just because somebody eat meat, you don't totally exclude them out of that spectrum of what you call healthy. You make the choice to be a vegan. I make the choice to be a raw vegan. But if somebody don't eat alkaline and they don't eat raw, who am I to put myself in a position to stand on a pedestal and to start judging people? Like, I don't get it. Like, people say, oh, this is not alkaline. This is not the pH balance. Like, people got so much to say to divide this health community. And that's when I feel like your page doesn't have that, because some other page, it's almost like, well, you don't fit that category. It's almost like you don't fit because there's a certain mold. It's not a one size fit all.
Right.
But I don't understand that. For the people who are health nuts like ourselves, stop it. You got to have a little grace, just like we say earlier, because all of us was born on crack. So if you're not on crack anymore, you better in your life, you detoxing, you cleaning up, and somebody's still hooked, don't be come on now, don't be judgmental. Don't look at it and be like, oh, look at this fiend over there. Forgetting that was you 6 months ago. That was you 10 years ago. That was you. So have a little grace for people. You got to have a little grace. And then when you find your group, you say, hey, I want to be a raw vegan. I want to be an alkaline vegan. You still got to have a little respect, a little grace for the people who may not be where you are now, because the fingers aren't the same length. And everybody's coming from different perspectives. You have men, you have women, you have people coming from different health problems. So we're not all the same. So if you make a choice and then it works for you, just because that's not what somebody else is doing, I still want people to act with a certain amount of grace and respect for everybody, because we all trying to do one thing. Healthy alternative. We're just trying to get healthy. That's it.
That's it. Beautiful. You had mentioned that people ask you the TMI questions. If you feel comfortable, I'd like to get into some of those because, they get on me if I don't.
What language should I use? I don't know if you with the ish. Can I use those language? Because this is like about to get there. Hey, by the way, this is the part of the show. If you don't want to hear about the ish, if you're not with the ish, you can log off now. But honestly, I got to be honest. When it comes to TMI, the whole time, especially after day 50, 70, I was waiting to see the mucoid plaques. It's almost like an obsession. I think that was part of the reason why I kept going, because I've seen so many nasty stuff on the stool online. I was like, I'm expecting, and people ask me, did you use the bathroom every day? Yes, every day. And then when my mother asked me that, and I'm like, I don't understand how it's coming out solid and I'm juicing. My mother was
Mm.
like, the same way a baby drink milk and they go solid.
Yep.
Milk is liquid. They drink their mother's milk. They don't consume nothing and they go to poop solid.
Yep.
And I didn't understand it till she said that to me. So now I'm a little bit, but I think on day 111, I started to see like a little jellyish thing in the stew.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consider that to be maybe more, it was mucus.
Mm-hmm.
And to go back as far as detox symptoms, on the first 2 weeks, my body, like as far as my face, and I had a big thing the size of a nipple on my chest that was full of pus, one
Mm.
on my thighs also. But since I did the water fast, I was aware that this is like a detox symptom. So by the time you squeeze that, it becomes yellow, pussy, smelly. So those are the TMI stuff that happens to me. And as far as the stool itself, every day, sometimes twice a day, the first thing I do when I wake up after my prayer, I call it the throne. I go in the bathroom and then let it loose. And then I would check it. I would take my little phone. I would check it. I'm looking for the mucoid flags, but
Right.
I never saw it. I never saw it. And people was asking me, do I take herbs? I didn't take any herbs, but every week I would go to a shop and get some sea moss and mix it up in something and drink that.
Okay.
So probably twice a week or once a week or sometimes every 2 weeks, I would incorporate sea moss, but I did not take any cleansing, any herbs to facilitate anything. Did I see any parasite in my stool? Man, I promise you, during that 182 days, I looked every day.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that. I
Okay.
did not see that. So I don't know if maybe next time if I do like a short-term juice, if I should include like some parasite cleansing, some burdock roots, some, garlic, some, some parasite busters, but I did not see it. But the first week, the first 2 weeks, also your tongue becomes white. It's almost like you can smell your own breath.
Yeah.
But being familiar with the water fast, I knew that was me detoxing.
Yeah.
So technically, it's almost like you can, and your sense of smell becomes impeccable.
Mm.
You can smell something from Mars, bro. Like your first 3, 4 weeks, like literally, you can smell. You can if somebody doesn't have the right diet, you can smell the food they ate probably 2, 3 days ago. As soon as they
Mm-hmm.
walk by, it's almost like I don't want to say it because I know there's a lot of spiritual people here. It's almost like you can smell spirit.
Mm.
It almost feels like that. But I didn't want to get too deep and esoteric into this fast because my journey, yes, it was physical. Yes, it included prayer, but I was very watchful. I didn't want to get too involved in the conspiracy theorist spiritual aspect of it. But I did pray. I did manifest a lot of things, including what we're doing now. I feel like stems from that journey. So this is where we are. I think that's it for the TMI, unless you have more questions. But no, I did not get the mucoid plaques. I did see mucus, but I did not see any parasites, any worms in my stool. And people ask me, do I pee a lot? No, I pee regular. Like I literally probably 2, 3 times a day. It did not disturb my day. I work on the desk every day. I did not do any physical. People ask me if I exercise. I think on June 25th, I started to do some push-ups and some walking, probably like hour, but nothing, no heavy lifting because understand this is an experience for me too. So I'm not gonna go to the gym while I'm doing this type of work. So
Right.
people saying don't do this. Hey, listen, I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking. I'm not trying to kill myself here. I'm trying to heal
Right.
myself.
Right.
I'm trying to heal myself. I'm not trying to kill myself. So if people say, hey, did you exercise? Even if I did, I'm not gonna push 5, 10,000 pounds. I would go for a walk. I would do some push-ups, some back arms. I would be pretty easy on me, almost like yoga type.
Yeah.
That's what I did. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much part of the journey when it comes to the TMI part.
Um, one of the questions that I had was surrounding loose skin.
Uh-huh.
I typically ask guests about the loose skin. I've never interviewed anybody who's juice fasted this long.
Yeah.
You did the water fast and you did the juice fasting, so you actually
Yes.
can compare and contrast. Can you talk a little bit about the loose skin?
I think they pretty similar as far as the amount of loose skin. So from the water fast, I don't want to compare it because I lost 65 pounds. But for
Okay.
the juice fast, I went longer and then I lost 105 pounds.
Mm.
So it's not as bad as I have a video where I take off my shirt and I show because so many people was asking,
Hmm.
did I lose muscle? I never had any muscle. I was a fat guy. So muscle. What you mean? I lost weight. I lost fat. So you know what I'm saying? But I do have loose skin as far as, your chest was that big. You had breasts. and all of a sudden now you shrink, of course
Mm,
it's going to be pending. Your stomach, you had a stomach size 40, 42 pounds. Of course you lose some weight. It's going to be hanging over your belt a little bit. So I'm a skinny guy, 175 pounds now, but
mhm,
it's still a little loose. But the way I answer the question for the loose skin questions, there is no making omelets without breaking eggs.
mhm.
Don't think this weight loss journey is always going to be pretty. And a lot of people are worried about the wrong thing. It's like you so scared to lose weight, you're thinking about loose skin. Bro, lose the weight, you worry about the loose skin later. Like, look at the work you did. You did
Mm.
your fast, and every time I look at you now, you're in the gym somewhere, you're doing your exercise, and so far, look at you, bro. You maintain yourself for years. And that's what people don't want to do. They think like it's gonna be a quick fix. I'm just gonna do this water fast, I'm gonna do this juice fast, and I'm gonna be sexy for life. No, this is a lifestyle. This
Yeah.
is a lifestyle change. This is for you to get from point A to point B. It's a bridge that you built to get to the healthier alternative part. You built a bridge to come from unhealthy, you fast, and then now to go live your regular healthy life. Whatever choice you make, whether it's to go vegan or to go alkaline or to eat a healthy diet, to incorporate exercise, it's a transition. That's what the fast is. Of course, you're not going to fast for the rest of your life unless you're a breatharian, which I believe is possible, but
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah.
not going to discuss that. But it's a transitional piece. So you should use it as such to transition your life when you get to the better side and you make better decisions that's going to take you back to your old unhealthy lifestyle.
Agreed. Agreed. And once again, just for clarity's sake, the when because there's two different categories of loose skin. The loose skin that you get from fasting is not the loose skin that people see on YouTube, where it's literally like so much skin you could pull it off like a shirt. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my brother had he did he did actually he did mostly juice fasting actually, but he kind of supplemented with juice. He didn't drink nearly as much as you were drinking. And so I want to say he lost I think it was maybe 100 pounds when we talked. It was either 60 pounds or something like that. And we talked about it. And he had some extra skin, but it wasn't, I want people to understand this is not the loose skin that you see from traditional dieting and weight loss. Would you agree with that?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
not. You shrink much better with more grace, and it's not like a flabbish. You shrink. If you're the size of an egg, you shrink, you're just going to be a smaller egg. It's
Hmm.
not changing your shape. It's just taking fat away from you.
Right.
So of course, if you got loose skin, it's just going to be like that. So by the time you go to the gym, you spend a couple months doing some push-ups, your
Yeah,
body is just gonna shape up. That's when you get in shape, quote unquote. But as far as the water, the juice itself, it's just gonna shrink you in whatever shape you are. You're just gonna stay that way. If you shape like an apple, you're gonna still be a smaller version of it. If whatever your original shape is, this is not to get you in shape. This is
right.
to get you smaller, and then you got to go and shape up your body now.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we covered a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did a good job of encapsulating the journey holistically. So the next question I had was, you decided to go raw. Is this a permanent thing? Are you just testing the waters? Do you plan on eating cooked food? Like, what does your dietary habits look like from this point forward? Why did you choose raw?
Well, just like I binge watch your channel, Jillian Berry, and everybody like Ro Christina, a lot of people that are a part of this health community, I've seen many different types of diet, and I can say, tried all of them, not exclusively, but I'm Haitian. I can say I had the hot diet, the Haitian American diet, had the side diet, the standard American diet, and I eat everything, bro. I'm international, man. I travel many countries. Like even here, like sometimes we discussing, or should we go to Thai? Like we European food, like we like, bro. It was just food for us. It was just something to do, fun. So man, I don't know. I'm looking at Raw and I'm looking at the people who's done it. And a lot of them, I'm looking at their attitude to especially the long-term ones, people who's been doing it for 30, 40, 50 years. And
Mhm.
I also look at people who's done it and then quit and to see what they look now after they quit. And then I would say my original idea, I was binge watching YouTube and Lenny Kravitz came on. and he was talking about how I think it's like an episode where they showing his fridge or something. You might have seen that. So that's what came on, and then he said, "I'm primarily raw. Sometimes I would go months without eating cooked food." And then I was like, "Damn, I can do the Lenny Kravitz diet."
The Lenny Kravitz diet.
Literally, that's what I said to myself because he was like, when I'm away from the cities, I can literally go weeks and months just eat raw. And then they ask him, okay, when you don't eat raw, what do you do? He was like, oh, bread, pasta, or whatever. Like, and it was like all the stuff that I don't want to eat anymore. And
Okay.
remember, I'm Haitian. You cannot tell a Haitian that he can eat a meal without rice.
Mm.
You want to die? Tell a Haitian to have a meal without rice. And every Haitian, matter of fact, Caribbean, African, or mostly Black people, you cannot tell them to have a meal without some kind of starch. You cannot tell them that. For us Haitian, rice is the go-to starch that we consume. So
Gotcha.
for me, I was looking at it like, damn, Lenny Kravitz only crave pasta and rice and bread when he breaks his raw diet. Can I go long term doing a raw diet? So I start looking for people who has done it more extreme than him.
Hmm.
And you can tell at 60 years old, the men look good. Let's be honest.
Oh my God.
The men look amazing. And I want to
Bruh.
look like that when I'm 60. I don't want to be, listen, I want to be a good looking old man. I want to be a zaddy, bro. I don't want to, bro, bro, I don't want to be one of those old people with a walker,
Right, right.
swollen ankle. Nah, I want to be a zaddy, still looking cool, still with my flat belly, possibly a six pack. Look, I'm not playing, bro. I want to be like a Lenny Kravitz type of sexy.
Yeah.
And that when I saw him, that was my inspiration. I was like, you know what? I think after this juice fast, you're going raw. And I watched this video probably like I would say 10 times at least.
Yeah.
It's almost like you see a content and you wanted to squeeze more out of it. Like I
Mhm.
want to know more. What else do you eat, bro? How do you exercise? And now I see that he started to post little exercise regimen a little more, what he eats a little more. So I binge watch a lot of what he does. But that was the main inspiration as far as a celebrity, like what you can look like at 60 years old.
Yeah.
And then I start to apply that and I say, Toto, can you do a raw lifestyle? And then I noticed there was different type of raw. There was people who didn't eat any salt at all. People who didn't consume any kind of sweets. And I met people who literally eat every 3 days recently at a vegan meeting. So I'm meeting a lot of people that some may consider weirdos. But I'm appreciating the lifestyle because it's like they doing something so extreme where you never heard of it before. And I'm thinking, damn, if this man can eat every 3 days and he's looking like this at 50, at 60, I should do that. But so far, I wanted to do one meal, but so far I eat 2 meals a day since I broke the fast. And raw has been, can I do it or will I do it? I think the first thing I did was to change my name from Roberto to Roberto. I feel like that was the start. Once I give myself that new identity, I feel
Mhm.
like I can live by it. And so far, man, I honestly honor that life. I honor it. Like I look at cook food. I don't look at it like it's nasty because I got family, I got friends, and I go to parties and I got a family. I don't look at it as nasty, but every time I see it, I always think this is not for me.
Gotcha.
I always put it to the side like this is not for me. And now I start to bring my own food to gathering. I go to a restaurant, bring my own avocado because I know you can find lettuce, tomatoes, all the basic stuff. But an avocado, they charge your arm and the leg. So I start bringing my own stuff. I take my lunch to work. So I feel like I'm embracing the lifestyle. And every day I'm trying to make it better. Every time I go to a gathering, somebody put a recipe together. I had the raw lasagna the other day by Chef Debbie. I had a Arnold's Way who makes like a carrot cake, a carrot combination. I had somebody, I think Chef Deb did like something too. I had Sarah from Philly. Shout out to Sarah from Nourish Philly. She she got like a restaurant, but every month or every time she would do like a raw food challenge where she'll invite people and she will serve raw food in her restaurant. And she's so gracious and willing to share her recipe. So I met a lot of people that are phenomenal people throughout this journey. And we share recipe. Olivia, she make raw wraps. I met like look at Jillian Berry gifted me a juicer. So I have so much. Look at you right now. Like your words, your encouragement, like your questioning as far as what do you want to do, as far as guiding me throughout this whole process. Like I don't know. Like you said, maybe next year my whole life will change. I don't know. But I'm so open right now and I'm so willing because my heart is big. And I wanted the same way I transfer the energy as far as what I do for the juice fast. I feel like whether through juicing whether through my frame of mind, whether through raw food, whether through health, I can help people because I'm a giver. I'm a giver. And I feel like if I can transfer that energy, so that's where I feel like raw food is taking me. Will I be able to do it? I believe so. If you can do 6 months on juice, 40 day on water, bro, raw food is nothing. You should be
Yeah.
able to eat a
That's
banana and
easy.
be
That's
okay.
light work.
Light work.
Yeah.
So my mind right now, I'm gonna say it on your channel so people don't judge me. I still consume salt. I still do a little bit of olive oil, but I never cook nothing. I don't even use the stove for anything. Everything I consume, I literally like I make this joke online for the people. I'll probably be like, yo, you watch me toss salads all the time. And I say no pause because that's technically what I do because I have my salads in front of me and that's what I eat every single day. And I promote that lifestyle the same way I did with the juice. And that's my life right now. And so
Yeah.
far, I embrace it and I love it. And I haven't gained any weight as far as from the juicing to the raw lifestyle.
Mhm.
So will I be able to do it forever? Never say never, but right now I would say it's Roberto, baby. I'm raw all the way, and I
Hey,
love it.
listen, I guess my word of advice would be to continue to just let energy flow as
Yes,
you
yes,
go on your journey, however whichever way you're pulled, as long as it's in a positive direction, let it flow. I see a lot of raw people get into trouble by promoting this very staunch raw life, and then
uh-huh,
for whatever reason they decide to change, and it's almost like that was their identity, and now they have to reinvent themselves, or people just hate on them. So
yeah,
what I say is, keep it a buck with everybody. Like I
yeah,
always tell people, like I'm not perfect, because if you see me out and you see me doing something, and if I say, oh, you should never drink because I
yeah.
know alcohol is bad and you should never drink. I stopped drinking 10 years ago. You'll never see me drink. And then I'm out drinking. Now I look like a fool. I look like a
No,
liar,
no, no. That
you
what I
know?
did with my juice fast, I was extremely transparent. I was extremely transparent, and I let everybody know. Even if I go somewhere I couldn't find any juice, I let everybody know what I was doing. And I feel like for the raw food, like I say, I will always be authentic.
Right.
This is something I share with social media, but I'm not gonna let that change my perspective. But as
Yeah.
far as drinking, smoking, those are habits that I already try to kick away long before the water and the juice fast. So
Hmm.
I've been slowly changing my life
Hmm.
as far as habits, as far as my spiritual life, as far as being more grounded. So I've been building up to this point. So I feel like I only have up to go from here. And I feel like raw food is just the level I am right now. But if anything were to change, don't think I'm going to keep people in the dark just for the sake of a name. It's just
Right.
like that's why I answer you on your channel. I'm always going to be transparent. I'm always going to be me. I'm always going to be authentic. But right now, Roberto is raw. That's what it is.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've had a very enjoyable time just, speaking with you, learning more about you, hearing your story. I really appreciate the flowers. It's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful to know that the community is impacting people in that way. Also, I do want to say, like, we have another community. It's called AHA Communities. We were having some issues with Facebook, and so we wanted to move the community to a kind of like a safe haven. So if anything happens with Facebook, we have that. So I definitely want to invite you if you're not already
I'll
on
send
there.
you a private message and I'll get on that. I'll get on that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I wanted
and
to say one thing before I leave.
sure.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your questions because they're not simple questions. They are questions that I really think about before I answer. And and my answer is also a place of truth, even if it may seem undecisive. But this is where I'm at as far as the way I answer the questions. And also, I wanted to say this on your channel. A lot of people, right? A lot of people, I'm sorry, somebody's knocking on the door right now. A lot of people sometimes when they make changes, it put them on a pedestal above other people.
Hmm.
And I wanted to share on your channel that just be like the healthy alternative. Just show love. Just show love. Just because you're on this diet now, you don't consume this anymore, you don't do that anymore. That other person that's living this lifestyle, you can stay away from them, but there's no need to be online attacking people for dietary choice.
Yeah.
Like this is love. A healthy alternative is supposed to be about love. First of all, once you make yourself better, you're supposed to radiate that light.
Yeah.
So meaning if you're eating healthy and you spewing hate towards other people, what's the point?
Mm.
What did you gain out of living a healthy life? Because you're not spewing health to people, you're not spewing light. So I wanted to tell everybody, because I don't get that from your channel, but I get it from a lot of other channels. A lot of people, they get to that lifestyle and then they shun other people. They spew hate. Like, this is not to be divisive. You make yourself better, spread the love. That's pretty much what this is.
Beautiful. Listen, I'm gonna let you end it on that note. I love
Yes.
that. I love that.
Yes.
Everybody who's watching, first of all, hit that like button if you guys
Yeah,
enjoyed this
hit the like
video.
button, man. I
You
appreciate
know,
it. Thank you for having me, man. I greatly appreciate you. And I know your channel is gonna do wonders. It's gonna become like a staple in the community. Well, it's already that. It's already that for me because I've been on there for years. Ever since the first water fast that you did. When you changed your life, you started posting. I've been on that for years. And I feel like it's gonna keep being amazing. I hope Facebook don't shut the page down because it means so much to so many people. It's a
yeah,
staple in a certain community, especially for me. And thank you so much for having me.
my pleasure. If you guys enjoyed the content, subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.
Juicy.